Martin McCauley from Tampa, Florida.
Excellent. You hear from Tampa and all of that. Tell us, world peace is coming up. What do you think? You think we need to continue to kill everywhere in every country and destroy lives? Tell us your opinion about it.
Yeah, well, I think probably, especially as a father of three, it's hard to watch the news and have to explain to my kids what's going on in places like Afghanistan and what's going on in places like Iraq. And just today, my son asked me, "What's an enemy?" And I found it really hard to define that for him. And so it's a sad state of affairs when this is what's going on in the world, and it's you really get a sense of it when it's really hard to explain that to your kids. And so,
When your son asks you what's an enemy, how do you actually see one, know one, or what do you do to people? Do you disagree with people to a point that you just hate them rather than sit down with them?
Sure.
How do you determine?
The way I answered it was, I said, when he asked me what an enemy is, I said that it's kind of like in a football game when you're playing your opponent. Your opponent is on the other team, and enemies are kind of like that, but maybe more serious. But there was really no way to fully explain it. And war ultimately just makes no sense at the end of the day, and there's just nothing but regret, and all it does is sow the seeds for more conflict and more war at the end of the day.
Right.
Do you think there's ever a point when it's ultimately necessary?
I really don't think so. I think to say war is ultimately necessary is simply a failure on our part to quell our egos and to forgive at the end of the day, and to let that become the foundation for finding a peaceful way to move forward. So I really can't hop on board with saying that it's a necessary evil by any stretch.
Well, you mentioned forgiving. Do you think that religious leaders should be involved? Should one religion hate another religion? Or should we all come together and talk about it? Or what?
Yeah.
How do you actually forgive?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to religious leaders, I think they really need to lead by example. I mean, when you look at the heart of every major religion, it's peace and forgiveness and love that's really at the core. And so how you reconcile that core with labeling certain people as enemies, it's just hard to understand. And I think it's really the religious leaders that need to embrace the core of their respective religions and set the example for the rest of the people of their faith and the way to peace.
Thank you.